when you are in your last moments of your life, you want people there that are important to you. I don't think that it's appreciated enough how much you guys did during that time to be there for her in her last moments. I had a message from Ryan saying, "Hey Raj, she's barely, she's in her last days here. Just maybe best you don't have to come here. It's okay." Ryan just didn't want to see me. I thought he hated me. It's a whole other story. I had to check with Arden. I'm like, does Ryan not like me?
I want to tell the story of me meeting you. That's the part we skipped over. The day she moved into palliative was, I remember so many things about it, but it was just horrible. And we had to like do this tour, and it was like Arden, and we were just like, holy shit, are we not equipped to do this? So we move in, we're like putting on a brave face for Tamara, blah blah blah. Every night we're just like haggard, and Raj comes in to this fucking Hawaiian party.
All right. Welcome to a very special episode of Limelight with two very special people. So special, in fact, that I am willing to do a virtual podcast, which I'm 100% against. I'm all about in person. However, these two happen to be on different parts of this planet. So, what I really suck at when I do podcasts is introductions. So, why don't I just throw it over to Arden? Who the hell are you?
Oh gosh. What do you want to know?
How do I know
I
you?
how do I know you? Okay. I don't even know if I fully remember the exact moment I met Raj. I'm pretty sure I was at the Lay's house with Tamara, and I don't know if we actually met or we just called you like 7 times for you to come over, and then you may or may not have come over to Tamara's place.
Okay.
Unsure, but I know you through Tamara, and she told me when we were gonna first meet, she's like, "This is the male version of me," so that's how I met Raj.
That has nothing to do with who you are at this time,
Well,
but
well,
but you
yeah,
know what?
I
That's
know
that's a
Tamara.
Tamara. Well, we're we're here because we want a special person. Tamara O'Brien brought us together. Um, and for those who know me really well, know how much of an impact Tamara made on my life. We're doing this episode because we want to raise awareness about, BC Cancer Foundation and how cancer can affect people directly and indirectly by being involved with, by having someone in your family or friends circle that has to go through this horrible disease. May 2024 marks the fourth annual Hot Tam Summer Workout to Conquer Cancer team. And it's our fourth one without Tamara. However, Tamara did it 2 times before that. And I think all three of us were on the original team in 2019, or no?
I think so, yeah.
Yes?
So 2019 was the first year I got invited to be on the team. And we'll talk a lot about today about what, Tamara meant to us, who these lovely people are that are on this podcast with me today, and how you can, make a difference by joining our Workout to Conquer Cancer team. Let's start off by talking about who is Tamara. And I don't think I'm the right person to introduce who Tamara O'Brien is.
Arden would love to.
Oh man, that's like hard to put into words, I guess. Oh, Tamara O'Brien was, I think, for a lot of people, known as like a world class athlete. She competed for Team Canada um, in her sport, which is double mini trampoline, which is how we actually all met. At least Ryan and I. Um, but for I think a lot of other people that were really close with Tamara, like that almost meant nothing. She was like the life of any party, and every party was like basically any room she was in. So I don't know. Tamara was like the best friend anyone could ask for. She's always checking in on you, always making you smile, dancing in public. she really could not care less what other people think. Yeah, and that's how I know Tamara.
Like Arden said, we all met through gymnastics, and Tamara was a world champion in several disciplines, and she's a World Games silver medalist. And then she was diagnosed with cancer in 2017.
Yeah, she was diagnosed in 2017. It was like September, late August, September, October.
Yeah. So that's kind of what stopped her gymnastics career. And then she turned into a quasi cancer influencer, and she made vlogs and she shared her whole journey, and she traveled, and she came and watched world championships in Russia as part of the Forward Foundation trip. And she was a warrior in sport, and then she was such a great face for cancer and being positive and being grateful for your life and being a force of nature and everything that you do.
I think that impacted all three of us for sure, and many, many more people. You guys are both also world class athletes. You guys competed on the world stage with Tamara. Arden, you grew up in Calgary.
Yeah.
And Ryan, you grew up in some suburb of Edmonton. Wait. Grand Prairie.
Yeah, not a suburb, but middle of buttfuck nowhere, Alberta. Yeah.
Grand Prairie, right?
Yeah.
I'm so proud of myself. You're an Edmonton Oilers fan. Let's get that out of the way quick.
My family are Oilers fans. I'm less of a hockey fan.
Well, for the audience, in BC, we won't know if you're closer to Calgary or Edmonton without that statement. So now
Right.
I can say that you're closer.
You can
to
bully
Edmonton.
me for being an Oilers fan. Yeah, no problem.
I'm not bullying because we don't know. Round 2, we might see each other. Anywho, speaking of being inspired, she passed away in October of 2019. The two people that are on this podcast with me, Ryan and Arden, I did not know very well until until the last couple months of Tamara's life. When I first met Tamara, I didn't meet her I'm not a world class athlete. Surprise. So I didn't meet her at a competition. I met her at a friend's birthday party, and I was just like, man, this girl is absolutely awesome. Where have you been all my life? Type of vibes. But also, I can't talk to you because I literally said to her, I was like, I can't be talking to you right now. And what I meant by that was, I don't want to catch feelings here because I'm not ready to like get in a relationship, right? But that was my initial thought. I just thought, wow, what a great, beautiful person inside and out. In the first impression that she made to me, right? She had a whole crowd around her. She's telling them all a really personal story, and she's going around talking to different groups, and I was like, damn, right? What happened was, we would talk here and there, on Instagram, Facebook, or I'd see her. She would go by where I used to work. She used to train nearby, so she'd walk by and say hi, and she invited me to the Workout to Conquer Cancer team in 2019. She got diagnosed with cancer about a year and a half after I met her, and in my head, I was like, she's gonna be fine. It's stage 4. And ignorant, and also just positive, right? Naive, and I just thought she was gonna be fine. I honestly did. I didn't have any worry in the world. I was like, this is such a healthy young person. There's no way that anything could go wrong here. I never experienced cancer before in my life. Personally or in my family. That was someone I was very close with. Had you guys prior to Tamara?
I feel like only
Yeah,
really
I
like my
lost two
grandpa for
grandparents.
me. But I was so young when my grandpa got cancer, and then my grandma also. But I mean, she also got cancer, and that was later in my life. But I feel like it's a bit different with Tamara, and I don't think it's like necessarily. Well, maybe it's a bit of us all being naive, but I had the same thought, Raj. I was like, oh, she's gonna be okay. She's like so young, so fit, like she's got this. So I don't think I've ever experienced anyone quite as young and as healthy as Tamara with cancer before.
right?
Oh. I had lost two grandparents to cancer, but I would agree that we were all definitely naive, and I know Tamara was a little naive about it too. But I think we realized the gravity of it pretty quick when she had to have all those surgeries kind of back to back. And then it did progress pretty quick. But I remember we were in Spain for a World Cup when she had booked her appointment to find the lump, like to get her the lump in her neck checked before she was diagnosed the second time, like after the kind of spot she had removed. And I noticed how worried she was there, and I had never seen her like that, and I found that odd. Like there was something about her and her intuition that she just knew something was wrong, and I think that was kind of my first inkling that okay, maybe this isn't just going to be one surgery and it's over and everything's going to be fine. And then it got bad pretty quick.
Yeah, I was, she's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be okay. That was, end of 2017, as we said. All of 2018, me and her kept in touch. We we actually sadly never really hung out, apart from maybe 2 or 3 times. And what makes me really sad is my dumbass didn't take any photos of us. Like, like we went to a freaking concert, passenger concert in November 2018, and I can't even find any videos I took from that concert. I'm like, what the hell? Maybe I'd have a video of him like performing, but I have no photos of us. And I'm like, I remember that day. I remember picking her up. I remember us having a really deep conversation, and it was about a year after her diagnosis, right? Fast forward to May 2019. Right before May, she goes, "Hey Raj," she messaged me on Facebook. She's like, "Hey, this is the link. This is the page. If you could join, it'd be awesome." I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Whatever it is, I'll join. I don't even care. It's no problem." But I had no idea what it was. I just said yes. Like maybe a couple days before, I end up calling her. I'm like, "Hey, what is this? What are we doing? Do I need to post online? What do I need to do for workouts to cancer?" And she was like, "Raj, like, this is what's going on. I have to recruit people. We have to have a team. It's going to raise money and awareness for BC Cancer." BC Cancer, for those people who don't know, maybe are outside of British Columbia, we really have really good healthcare in Canada, but the medical bills are still extremely over and above what standard healthcare will cover, and you still have to pay. I think it was like $100,000 every like quarter, in medicine, which BC Cancer will pay for patients, which is incredible. They do a lot more things, which we'll talk about today. However, she tells me this, and I go, okay, so I just have to work out every day in May for 30 minutes, and I got to post about it. And then I was like, hey, like, how's recruiting going? Who's on the team? She's like, oh, I only asked like some people, but I can't believe it. I don't know. Do you guys remember how many people were on the team in the first year? It wasn't a large number. It was probably 30 people,
Yeah.
50 people max if there was. And then that's when I started calling her like more, because I was like, hey, how's it going? Like 1 weekend, like how many donations are we at? How are you doing? How are you feeling about everything? And she and I started talking more and more. And by the end of that month, uh, we raised $5,000. She was, I don't know, do you guys remember having, I wasn't, I don't know if she posted something or if you guys talked to her, but how was she reacting after the end of the month?
She was so thrilled. Like she couldn't believe it.
And it was 5 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember her being like so absolutely stoked that she was able to raise the money that she raised. And I'm pretty sure she did post a video too on YouTube at the end of that. And I think you can all see for yourself. She was just like so excited and so happy.
Yeah. And then after that, we started talking more and more. The cancer was getting worse and worse. I being living in, what's the word here? Being not ignorant, not naive. What's the word when you're just ignoring it? Denial. I was a little bit maybe in denial subconsciously that there was going to be anything that was going to happen that was going to be a bad ending to this. However, she what I took my role with calling her, checking up with her, being her friend, was to be the anti-friend. Okay? The anti-friend meaning I'm not going to be all day, "Oh, how are you feeling? Oh, I'm so sorry that hurts. oh, you have a bad doctor's appointment. Oh, that's like I was just like, hey, what's up? Like, how's it going? Oh, nice doctor's appointment. That's gonna be fun. Like, and she would feed off that, right? Because she was also that type of person. And again, if you watch any of her YouTube videos, you'll get to know that she dealt with a lot of her, you know, um, sadness with laughter and humor and morbid humor. I think that you kind of almost have to have some of it when you're in that situation. Does that give me any right to make morbid jokes? No. Did I make morbid jokes? Maybe one that's on camera on one of her vlogs. That's it, but not many more. Ryan, were you going to say that I've done more?
No, she said when she was really sick at the end, she was like, guys, like, I can't use the cancer card anymore. Like, I give it to you. You guys need to use it as much as you can. So I'm like, oh, we have a free pass for life. Okay, perfect.
I always
So
just remember her always saying, race you to hell. Ooh, I win. Like all the time. And I was like, oh, girl, you're killing me. But
Race you to
also,
hell.
I'm
I'm gonna
laughing so
win.
hard. Yeah.
so I took that role as I just had a feeling that having been knowing other people that have gone through other tough times in their lives, not cancer, but I understand how people treat them, right? It's always a pity party a little bit. Hey, right? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. What are you gonna do? It's like nobody wants, I mean, sorry, nobody that's going through it wants to hear that every day. They need to hear it sometimes. But if that's all you hear all day, it's gonna get boring pretty fast. So my job was to talk about whatever was trending then, if it was Two Chain's new album or whatever. Like we were just joking around. I was like making sure that I tried to stay away from having conversations that were too serious and kept it always lighthearted, right? And I think that she enjoyed that and that was good. Fast forward to later in 2019, I had a birthday. It was at the PNE, which is like the CNE, which is like a big fair in Vancouver, where we have an amusement park. And then like for the last couple of weeks of summer, you can go ahead and, buy mini donuts and go on rides, and it's a fair. It's fun. And it's my birthday around that time. So I was like, oh, cool. This is a good time to invite everyone to my birthday. A lot of my friends knew Tamara was, but I never met her before. And of course, I done Work Out to Conquer Cancer, so I posted about her then, and I talked about her a lot. I was like, oh my god, I met this like, well, I know this girl, and she is so awesome, and she is also very similar energy and attitude to me, right? And I was like, you don't see this very often. It's like, what the hell? She comes to my birthday party. I invited. I'm kind of. I would say I'm not a birthday party guy, but then when I do throw birthday parties, I invite like everyone. So it's like someone I met once in my life. I'm like, yeah, you should come to my birthday. I don't know why I do that, but I invited some randoms to my birthday. They're not randoms now, but at the time they were kind of random. And it's kind of a test maybe, right? You can be like, are they my real friends? Are they gonna show up for my birthday? Is this worth my time? And then if they show up to my birthday, keep them, right? No, I'm joking. Anyways, so this one individual comes to my birthday. He ends up having a deep conversation with Tamara. We're all having a good time. She ends up telling him, "Oh yeah, I have cancer. I'm gonna. I only have like a month left." She says that to him. Okay, she says that to him because well, first of all, it's Tamara. She doesn't give a shit. She's gonna say whatever she's thinking. But on top of that, he was saying, "Hey, I think it was his ex-girlfriend or his sister, somebody in his life had cancer, and I think had made it into remission. I believe it was a positive ending at that time." I didn't know about this conversation. I'm out here, and I'll put some pictures of that night on the podcast here of me just joking around and us joking around. She told him that. Now my question to you guys is: it was August 2019. She passed away in October 2019. It was the end of August, so you could almost say it was September. It was about a month, not even 2 months before she passed away. How open was she guys with you? How open was she with you guys? Sorry, around the reality of her health and timeline.
With me, I would say day to day, we didn't talk about it. Like everything was pretty normal unless there was like an appointment or something. But one of the last times I came to visit, we were driving in the car going down whatever highway you take to get into Vancouver. And she was like, what do you think happens when you die? And I was like, oh, fuck. Like, like, I believe in spirits, whatever. And she was just like saying how scared she was because she didn't know anybody that had passed away, really. And she was like, if there is something after this, like, I'm going to be up there all by myself. And that was like really one of the only times that she talked about how scared she was. And then when she was in the hospital towards the end, like, we obviously talked about it more on a daily basis because it was much more
Imminent.
pertinent. Yeah. But she always had such a good attitude and like about it all. Like, I think she was scared a lot of the time, but I think she was just happy to live her life more than that too.
Arden, what about you? I'm just curious, as a
On like
really good
on
friend.
how open she was with where she was at, and I guess timeline. I guess she was always, I feel like, quite open about anything like the doctors have been saying, or like I was there when she'd get calls from her doctors on I think my last like real visit with Tamara, which was August 2019. And she would like always tell me what the doctors were saying, and we like had to end our trip early because we had to rush to the hospital in Vancouver because they needed to take X-rays of her back, and like I feel like she was always very open about what was going on with me, but I think in her mind, and then still in my mind, it's like, what does that timeline look like? I have no idea. So I feel like basically getting those calls like mid-September when I just saw her a month ago surfing was like shocking to me. Even if she would have told me like that would have happened in September, I would have been like, girl, you were just surfing. So I feel like timeline wise, I don't know if she even knew. But she was always very open about everything else. But like I think same as Ryan, she was always like so positive, and it was so hard to tell like exactly where she was at.
But I also think like whenever they gave her a timeline, she like beat it threefold.
Oh yeah.
So it's like like I remember them giving timelines or like this is kind of what the prognosis is, and it's like none of it ever applied to her.
Yeah.
So every time we're just like, okay, like thanks doc for the advice, but we're gonna listen to this gal instead.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you're gonna need emergency back surgery. And then they're like, ah, just kidding. You're gonna be
Yeah.
you're gonna be good. So I was like, okay, I guess we're gonna go home. Great. It's
Yeah,
just who she was.
I think that she didn't want, I guess, those that were really close with her. Again, I know I was close with her, and you're especially as it came to um, the end of her life. However, I know that you guys were closer with her for many years prior to her knowing I exist and me knowing she exists. So that's why I asked because I wasn't sure. But I made a point to really keep it positive always. I remember she was in the hospital, and that's the one vlog or whatever that is posted. She was at the hospital, and I was like, "Oh, you're at the hospital? Yeah, I'll come by right now." So I just drive over, and then she's like, "This is the time where the cops showed up at her house, and they were like, 'We're here for Tamara O'Brien.'"
Yes.
And then she's like, "We're here for Tamara O'Brien. We need you right now." And it was like again one of those. I think that was in 2018, and yeah, she ends up in the hospital.
So clickbait. What should be?
Are you recording this now?
No?
I don't know what the clickbait should be. Cops thought I died. Cops showed up at my house. Thought I was dead.
That's a good clickbait though. That's fucking good.
I don't trust a lot.
Hey YouTube. Obviously not in my room. I'm actually at the hospital.
Saying what should I title this vlog, and then I was like, "Cops thought I was dead," and I think that's what she used. I was conscious that I want to keep it positive, and I think she made a point to keep it positive with all of us. Fast forward to September. September was a really busy time at work where I worked, and I was like working all day, every day, late nights, like till midnight. And it wasn't a work from home thing, so I wasn't around. And I remember I would text her every day in September and just check in, how you doing, how you doing, and again. And I had no idea how bad things were. But I know that she had obviously radiology, and she was making jokes about, "Hey, I look like that scary movie with the mask. What is that movie? I don't know. Okay, but you know what I'm talking about. If we can, I'll get one of you guys to find the photo so we can put it on there. But she was like, "Oh my God, they showed me they have to do a radiology thing and they have to like scan all my brain and stuff. But I have to put on this goalie mask." And then she like made a picture and she posted on her Instagram with like the contrast between that her and like that movie. Again, shows such like what a great attitude to have, right? In a situation like that. I think that all three of us would like to say that. Oh, there it is. Yeah, that's her at the top, and then at the
And it says
bottom.
twinning.
Who wore it better? Who wore it better? So, you're going in for a brain scan. I know some people in my life that are going to be scared for the next 7 days if they have to go get a little needle, right? And I'm not saying that's a bad thing or whatever. I'm just saying when you're going through that level of of a procedure and that type of illness, to have that kind of humor in you is something that I think we can all learn from, right? Now, she texted me, she stopped texting me. No. She texted me. Sorry, not she stopped texting me. Hold on. Let's back it up. Let me not say it like that. She was texting me and she goes, "Oh, Raj, I'm actually at VGH, Vancouver General Hospital." What? What are you doing there right now? September, when she checked in for the last time. She drove herself to the hospital, which I was like pissed. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Now, she could have called Ryan, but Ryan, again, all the way in not the suburbs of Edmonton, and Arden in Calgary, they're not going to be able to help. She didn't call me. I wish she did, but she didn't want to bother anybody. She drove herself to the freaking hospital quickly. I don't know if she was called to the hospital or if she just felt sick. Do you remember? I don't know.
She was getting the results of her scans.
And she had to run into the hospital.
Well, I don't know that she was planning on staying at the hospital, which is why she drove herself there. And then she was admitted.
She just got there. I pull up right as quickly as I can. I worked nearby, so that made it easy. I pull up and I see her and she's like, "Hey," and I'm like, she's like, "I can't believe it. I'm fucking in a hospital right now." I'm like, "Okay." I hug her, and then that's when the first time I had her break down with me. And it was in conversation where she was talking about, "Raj, they have not told me anything. I am not getting any results. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, what the fuck's going on? This is so brutal." And I was like, "Oh my God. What joke can I make right now to ease the tension?" I couldn't think of anything. So I just hugged her, and that was the beginning of when she was at the hospital. Now, fast forward, I guess a couple weeks later, you guys flew in. You flew in pretty quick after that. I think, was it right when she was put into palliative care or right before? She had a surgery.
Before.
She had an emergency surgery.
Yeah, I flew in during her emergency surgery. And I remember getting dropped off at the hospital and basically like running around the hospital being like, "I am looking for Tamara O'Brien. I'm looking for Tamara O'Brien." And I was literally probably doing laps of VGA.
I'm picturing you doing like double mini trampoline jumps
Yeah, I
too
was
as you're
just,
jumping
tumbling
around.
through. No, I was
Showing
actually
off
just like,
naturally. Classic Arden. Yeah.
yeah. And I was just like running around the hospital. And I remember they like directed me somewhere and I basically ended up in like some basement and basically stood in the hallway crying, being held by the Lay family. So that's when I came into Vancouver.
So I came out that weekend. I was in Portland the weekend that she got admitted. So I knew
Yeah.
that she had her appointment on the Friday, and then I was in Portland to see my sister. And then I hadn't heard anything, and I had called my mom on the Saturday, and I was like, "I haven't heard anything from Tamara. Like, I have a really bad feeling about this one." And then Tamara had texted me on Saturday, and she basically said, like, "It's not good." And I remember texting Arden. I texted our friend Kat, and I was like, Tamara's never said anything to that effect. I was like, "I think this is it." So I had booked a flight out for the next day to go to Vancouver with Kat, and then I spent that week there, and then I had to fly back to Edmonton the weekend she had her surgery because I was in a friend's wedding. So I was gone that weekend when she had her surgery, which ended up being a fucking disaster too. So, and then I stayed in Vancouver till the end after that.
Arden was in the middle of final exams in your final year of university. Was it your final year?
No, it was just like like beginning of school, basically, for my final year of engineering. So I don't know if I flew in 2 or 3 times.
You definitely
I actually can't.
One of the times was for a wedding.
Yeah, so I came back and I had to go to a wedding, even though I mainly flew back to see Tamara again, and then it happened to be a wedding in, I think, Abbotsford. Great to be at a wedding, but I was like, my mind was definitely elsewhere.
The night of your wedding, I stayed at the hospital with her, but I believe the night before you stayed and the night after you stayed at the hospital with Tamara. So in between your wedding festivities were full days and nights sleeping on a chair in a palliative care room.
Hey, those chairs pulled out, they were long enough.
There's worse scenarios for sure.
They gave me my happy socks that I still have. With the sticky bottoms. I don't even know. Happy feet.
What was really, really difficult for me during that was just watching, in a sense, myself die and watch kind of what happens around you. And, she was such an incredible human. She made such a impact on so many people just by being herself. And, for her to have, ooh la la. Ryan just turned on his little bright light, so that's why I said ooh la la for those just listening.
We're losing daylight here quickly.
Yeah. And when the daylight... Okay, anyways. When you are in your last moments of your life, you want people there that are important to you. You want people to show how much they care about you and how much you meant to them in different ways. And I don't think that it's appreciated enough how much you guys did during that time to be there for her in her last moments. You guys are flying in and out. You guys are not local, and everyone deals with grievance and hospitals and illness, terminal illness differently. However, there was just, certain people that were there consistently and certain people that, for their own reasons were not there. And I just want to say, like, what you guys did was nothing short of just beautiful, and like just I think that I don't even know what words I can put to describe it, but I think that what you guys did, and for those of you listening, Arden and Ryan, and the Lay family, they were incredibly supportive throughout the whole journey, but most importantly at the end there. So I just, on behalf of, as a person, the male version of Tamara, I'll publicly say thank you to both of you for what you did there. I was sitting in doctor's office personally to get a little checkup because it inspired me to also just get a little checkup done. Back then, I was 10 a.m., 10:46 I think is the message time, a.m., October 15th, right? 2019. I had a message from Ryan saying, hey, Raj, first of all, for a couple days before that, Raj, she's barely, she's in her last days here. Just maybe best you don't have to come here. It's okay. Ryan just didn't want to see me, I think. I thought he hated me. It's a whole other story. I had to check with Arden. I'm like, does Ryan not like me?
I want to tell the story of me meeting you. That's the part we skipped over.
Okay, go ahead. Do you want to go over that right now?
Yeah. So the one night Tamara had just moved to palliative, which was like the most horrifying experience. Arden was there for the whole thing.
Yes.
That day was atrocious. And then Tamara wanted to throw a Hawaiian party while she was in palliative. So we had planned these decorations, whatever. One of our friends, Emil, had brought in a drag queen to perform for her, and Tamara was up shaking her ass like she could. And Raj comes into this palliative thing, and the day she moved into palliative was, I remember so many things about it, but it was just horrible. And we had to do this tour, and it was Arden. It was you, me, and there was a couple other people, and we were just like, holy shit, are we not equipped to do this? So we move in, we're putting on a brave face for Tamara, blah, blah, blah. Every night we're just haggard. And Raj comes in to this fucking Hawaiian party with bubble tea, a fucking bull in the china shop. And it was just energy exploded everywhere. And I was just like, oh my God, who the fuck is this guy? all I wanted to do was just like put my forehead down and sleep for 3 weeks. And this guy comes in and just like, who wants bubble tea? This one has almond milk. Oh, you're vegan? This one, I brought almond milk for you. You like bubble tea? And I was just like, no, I'm good, really. And it was just so much coming at all of us. And it's exactly what we needed. But I was just like, and I knew you thought that I hated you, but I was like, bro, I'm just trying to keep my head above water here. That's it.
Can you see this?
Yeah. God.
Yeah. That's how Raj came. That's the first time you met him, Ryan?
Yeah.
That's insane. Yeah.
But
But that's how I feel like that's exactly how probably Tamara would have walked into the room if it was like roles reversed for like anybody else.
100%.
What did you say, Ryan?
100%.
Oh, yeah. Oh, jeez. That's crazy. I actually forgot about that until now. We've never talked about that until literally right now. I remember the bubble tea. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I remember that whole part. That party was like, I like also think was like peak Tamara too. She's like, yes, I'm going to have a drag show in palliative care. Gets up, dances with the drag queens, and then was like, oh, sorry, just mind my stitches from her bringing emergency surgery. And I was like, yeah.
Gets a noise complaint in palliative care.
I also want to be very clear. Yes, I am very, energetic, all that, and I was in a mood, but I didn't know what palliative care meant, for the record. Just so we make this clear. I didn't know palliative care is end of life care, and I still was in denial that things were going to be bad. So
yeah,
you guys had gone through it that day, and I think it was perfect that if I was there for all that stuff too, I probably would have been also a little bit less energetic. Maybe not. I don't know.
Your energy was exactly like met the moment perfectly.
Well, you know what? I'm glad, but
we weren't coming with that energy for sure.
We definitely didn't have that in us that day. So
well, you have to remember. So Ryan is a very, very straight-faced individual. Doesn't show emotion often, and very handsome, but very straight-faced. And will so I'm like, do you want bubble tea? It's got, because Tamara had told me that, oh, if you're gonna bring bubble tea, like my friend's vegan and this one's this. I was like, okay, I got this, right? So I pull up, and I also don't drink dairy, right? So I was like, yeah, let's go. So I'm giving it, and then Ryan's face is like, no, I'm good, man. Who's this guy? Who invited this guy? What's going on, right? I was like, what the fuck, dude? But I'm glad that was that. And again, I was kind of not knowing. And then I remember Arden and I in the elevator one time. Maybe it was all three of us. And then I think Arden was like, it's end of life care, Raj. I'm like, oh, end of life. Oh.
Sorry to be so harsh if I was.
No, because she was like, oh, it's tough. It's so hard. And I was like, no, it's gonna be okay. She's gonna be fine. Arden's like, no, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? Okay, Raj's like, okay, let's stop this. Let's just, okay, you're great, everything, but dude, you didn't say it like that. You were probably thinking that, but you're like, Raj, it's end of life care. But one thing I want to mention here, for the listeners, some of our audience are Limelight listeners. Some of them are going to be Tamara O'Brien, Hot Time Summer members and or fans of Tamara, or friends. The hour she passed away, I lost obviously a little bit of a piece of me, for sure, it felt like, and I kind of watched myself die, and in a weird way. It's a weird way to describe it like that. And I was like, okay, well, this is what it would be like if I was gone. This is what, it was like October or cloudy day, Vancouver. For the next 12 months, guys, subconsciously, I was super fucked up. I didn't really realize it, but I remember I had to go to some birthday party thing in December. I didn't want to drink. I just was like, how am I? A part of me died, and that part of me was that Tamara energy, and it was like, how do I act like myself again? And it just was weird. That year was a tough year, career-wise. It was a tough year. COVID, all that stuff was going on, and as an extrovert, not having bubble tea to serve to people, it was very extreme days for me. What I want to say is that was 2020. Then it was 2021, 2022, the beginning of 2023. In 2022, I decided I was going to have a podcast. I decided I'm going to make some changes in my life and got a dog, got through, the dog also, that's a whole other story of how Tamara, Ryan, all that stuff kind of is connected to, and a lot of things that were to do with Tamara. And I think Tamara watching over us, or me in this case. I met an individual by the name of Mindy, January 2023. Mindy Bender, who is one of our co-hosts on a podcast. I go, not happy. It's January. I wasn't happy. I go walk in to this fireplace shop, and I am like, how am I gonna figure out my life? It's January. Like, I gotta figure out my life. I'm not working. I have a dog. I'm a single father. What's my life gonna be like? And I'm just drained. And now imagine you walk into a fireplace shop, and it's a fireplace you've been dreading to buy. You have a hole in your wall. When family comes over, they're like, Raj, get a fucking fireplace for the love of God. I'm like, I gotta get the right one, and I don't want to spend too much. I'm just not into it. I pull in, and imagine at the desk is a 45-year-old brown man with Tamara energy. Okay? But I didn't know it at the time. So I walk in, and I'm like, hey man, I'm just looking for a fireplace. He's like, hey man, fireplace, cool. Is it your dad's house? Your house? Yeah, it's my place. Oh, what the hell? What do you do for work? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, fuck man, like, I'd love to talk, but not right now, right? I just don't want to talk right now. He broke
It was
through
like
me.
he came in with the bubble tea.
Yes.
This is your bubble tea moment.
Yes. I was, again, like, the context was, it was January. I was just trying to get a medical insurance so I could get diagnosed with ADHD, and then try out medication pills so I could try and figure my life out. I was just like, I had to figure some shit out.
The context was coming into palliative care. Your best friend just got admitted. I'm just giving you Ryan's also perspective.
So I walk in, I'm not in the mood. There's two guys sitting there. I don't know who's who. One's behind the counter, one's in front of the counter. They start talking to me. We end up in an hour and a half long discussion because he broke through me. And I got talking. All of a sudden now I'm like, fuck it, what's going on in life? I'm good right now, right? And then he's like, oh, you're starting a podcast? What's a podcast? What are you gonna do? And then he's like, man, I'm bad with technology. I don't buy the fireplace, I leave. A month later, I get a call. He calls me, I'm like, oh shit, I gotta buy a fireplace. I'm like, hey man, I haven't decided which fireplace. He's like, hey man, I'm just calling to say what's up. I'm like, sure, buddy, you're trying to sell me something. Month later, same thing. Month later, same thing. Now it's April. I'm finally like, hey man, I'm ready to buy this fireplace. Buy the fireplace, cool. I'm like, all right. He only called me like once every month, right? Then he calls me on a Thursday night after I had the fireplace. Thursday night, 10 p.m., I get a call. Mindy called me. I'm like, what the fuck? And again, palliative care moment. I was not happy that moment. I was in my kitchen. I was like, fuck, I haven't started a podcast. I haven't started a business. It's fucking 4 months into the year. I'm a fucking disgrace to myself, right? What am I doing here, right? Mindy's calling me 10 p.m. I'm like, I don't want to answer this, but it's 10 p.m. I hope he's okay. Hey, what's up? Hey, Raj, how's it going? How's that podcast? What? And he continues talking to me. We end up recording we record a bunch of podcast episodes. And I didn't tell him because I didn't really know until that summer when I went out with him. And when I would go out with him, he was the life of the fucking party. Just me and him, we'd go to a restaurant. He's joking with the server. He's joking with people, everything. He's just like, hey, what nationality are you? Oh, okay, cool. Oh, what's that? Oh, what's that on your face? Oh, okay, never mind. Like, he's just like, I'm like, at first, I'm cringing. So that I'm also secondhand experiencing what you guys feel when you're with me at a restaurant. You're like, oh God, Raj, you're taking it too far. I never experienced it before. Well, I've experienced real cringe before, where someone's being really weird or creepy. But I was like, oh, okay, it's fine. Don't do that. Okay, it's fine. It was like constant like this, right? Then in a fucking podcast, I end up talking to him, unreleased still. I end up saying to him, I said, hey, you know why I fuck with you, dude? You're only one of 3 people I know in this planet, and I know a lot of people that I've met that are as just like you. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, one's me, but then one's this girl, Tamara. He was released out of jail after a 12-year sentence, October 15th, between 9 to 10 a.m., same day, same year, same minute, that Tamara passed away. I don't know what to say about that. I don't know what you guys believe in, but that's too much to be a coincidence. This guy's forcing his way into my life, not like not forcing it, but I wasn't chasing him to be my podcast host. I wanted to start a podcast. then I get to know him. And again, now that I know him really well and I see him, everybody knows this guy, right? You go somewhere, everyone's like, oh my God. Turns out my network knew him. Like, it's the same shit. Oh shit. Ryan's pissed. Ryan's like, you're done.
It's like,
Oh, there you
we're done.
go. Okay. Anyways, so yeah, you're speechless. You just feel like, I'm done. Anyways, like, there's been a lot of things that happened in my life since she's passed away. I guess my question to you guys, how has her passing away impacted you? And I guess influenced you? Maybe you've made some different life decisions because of it. Maybe you've thought of life differently. Brian, do you want to start with that? And, her not being in our lives anymore?
It's been the closest loss to me in my life, and I don't think as a young person you expect a fellow young person to pass away at all, let alone in that way. And it's left this major hole in all of our lives that I think you hope gets filled one day, and it won't, and I know that it won't, but I think her, of all the people in my life, leaves such a big hole. It's such an energetic hole, a friend hole, a teammate. And I think she has had a huge impact on me. Like, I've moved across the world. I don't think I would have done that had that not happened and COVID happened right after. And I carry her and her energy and her perspective on life through a lot of things in life. And I want to say, when you're talking about coming to palliative and all these things, Tamara was a connector, and she could connect with anybody, and she loved to connect other people. And I think Tamara's a lot of the reason why I'm good friends with Arden, and she's obviously the reason all of us are friends, and we've all met the Lees through them. And like, I got a message from Kitty, their friend, the other day saying that she's joining Hot Tam Summer. And it's just, she passed away 5 years ago, and I'm still making friends off of the connections she's made. And I don't, like, when you're saying about coincidences or things like that, energetically, she's still connecting people. And that's her ripple through life. Like, we're doing Hot Tam Summer. I don't know 3/4 of the people on this team, but they're connected to Tamara in some way. And there's this bond that we have because we're connected through her. And there's, like, my friends know who Tamara is that I've reconnected with after Tamara passed away, and they're joining Hot Tam Summer. So she has this ripple effect. And one thing, I'll just keep rambling. The CBC documentary that she did came out a day or two after she passed away, so she never got to see the response to that, and it has millions of views. And I've been going back to her YouTube videos to see, like, when she did her vlogs about cancer and things like that. And I remember when she would post it, and she'd be so excited that I got 200 views and then 500 views, and it wasn't like millions of views. And I went every year that I go back to post them for Hot Tam Summer, like, she's at 500,000 views on some of these videos, and that's her legacy. And there's still gymnasts that look up to her, and people are sharing her gymnastics videos still, and her reach is still huge. And she passed away 5 years ago. So that's what I carry with me, is I carry her, and I carry her memory, and I carry her energy. But she doesn't need me to carry it. She's doing it herself still.
Yeah, it's true. Man, I don't feel like I'm ever as eloquent as Ryan. He just, like, gets the words out right.
That was eloquent? I didn't shut the fuck up.
For me, I think Tamara's, like, almost like a constant reminder, like, every day. Like, she's still, like, my screensaver on the back of my phone. And she just, like, reminds me, like, how to live life, I guess. And I guess that's kind of, like, the silver lining in all of it. Wow, I'm emotional. I think, like all of us have said, like, you don't really expect to lose a fellow young person, let alone, like, your best friend who you've, like, traveled the world with as, like, your go-to roommate. And I feel like you just don't expect to lose your best friend. But I think the silver lining is just how she's taught me how to look at life, to be, like, so grateful for literally everything, even, like, the shittiest things. Everything is, like, a blessing every day. So I think that's how I carry Tamara the most.
You know,
Okay.
No,
I also don't cry very much. So, oh,
it's funny you mentioned crying. Like, I have not cried about Tamara at all, really, until an episode that I filmed with Mindy. Um, and it was also on camera. And I don't cry very often, anyways, also. And yeah, it was just a moment where I'm sitting there, I'm watching a video. I think it was the CBC documentary Ryan mentioned with Mindy. I was showing it to Harmol, and I'm sitting there. I have a podcast mic in front of me. I have a big, huge light in front of me. I have a camera in front of me. I have two guys that I was not friends with prior to podcasting. It wasn't like three friends that started a podcast. It was, and then it was just like, holy shit. Like Tamara's here right now, and Tamara's done this, done this for me, and whatever way I want to look at it. And I think that she's just like, Ryan's moved to Paris. Like you said, maybe you wouldn't have done that. I know that for me, I don't know if I would have had the courage to do what I'm doing right now if I didn't see her, go through what she did and how she went through it. I also think that for anyone listening, and I was talking to someone else about this who's going through a tough time right now, personally, and we don't want to wait till it's too late and you wish you did something. Um, a lot of times in our society these days, it's all about, how much money can you make and how rich can you get or how to become a millionaire and all these things. I think people are so obsessed with that. First of all, I can say, money means nothing if you're not healthy and all these other things, right? But on top of that, it also, I was never a type of person that chased money or anything, but having been told so much in my life from different people that, hey, Raj, you work too much. You don't stop and smell the roses enough. You don't do this enough. All my 20s, I didn't really do any of that. And now I'm basically risking everything with the way that I'm living right now to go down to having nothing. But my attitude is within reason. I'm not trying to bet all my money on the lottery tonight, but within reason, I think that we should take a step that makes us happy, will give us fulfillment. And that's never money. Money might be a means to get there or something else. Maybe it's winning a competition too as a world class athlete, but even that is short-lived, right? How we find fulfillment. And right now, how I find fulfillment is helping people and sharing this story. So, I'm so thankful that you're right, Brian. Tamara's a connector. She brought us together. There's no chance in hell that I'd be friends with you guys in any other way. I don't think, right? I think, Ryan, you said that. There's no way we'd be friends, I think, otherwise. There's just no way. Regardless
we
of
don't even live in
location.
the same
I
city.
just don't know how we ever would have been connected.
No, but even if I met you
There's
at a
just,
thing, I don't know if we would be like this, right? And Arden, same thing. Just so many things that we could say that we're so different. And to me, it's nice that I have you guys in my life and friends forever, as we say. Now, what I want to talk about now is, why we're sitting here. What brought us together specifically right now in this moment for the month of May. It's BC Cancer Foundation having a Workout to Conquer Cancer team. Workout to Conquer Cancer is a month where I think it's perfect month to get active because everyone's trying to get fit for summer and everything else. It was a perfect storm in May 2020 when we started our first Hot Temp Summer team. Should we talk about where the Hot Temp Summer name came from?
Yes. You want me to?
Yeah, I think you're better suited to share.
Okay, but I feel like this is your story. I think you're the one that originated this because the summer of 2019, when we were all just partying and pretending like nothing was wrong, there was a song, Hot Girl Summer, that came out. And then when Tamara got diagnosed, I'm pretty sure this was you, she said oh, I guess Hot Girl Summer's over. And then a song had just come out called Hot Girl Bummer. And your response to her was, oh yeah, Hot Girl Bummer now? And did she not get a tattoo that was HGS?
Yeah, she got a tattoo on
right.
her butt, on her ass, that says HGS.
So when it came around and we were trying to find a name after her celebration of life and we like couldn't figure out what to do, we're all just like, it has to be something with Hot Girl Summer. Like we're all working on this bod for Tamara.
Yeah.
And then one of us had the idea that it was going to be Hot Tam Summer, and then it just stuck.
It was Ryan.
And that's been the team ever since. And I don't think anybody that's signed up after it has ever like gotten the story or the context or anything to it. There's like, well, Hot Tam Summer, I guess I'll join.
So Hot Temp Summer, that's that year, 2020, COVID, people stuck at home, virtually, world was coming together, and we ended up getting about 200 members, was it? 300, 200 something?
I could tell you, I got this. I have all the lists.
While you're doing that, Hot Temp Summer, what we did that year was we had many people join all around the world, even though this is a BC fundraiser, and even still Arden and Ryan have no business supporting a BC fundraiser, but they are because of Tamara. We had people all around the world, because if Tamara
we had 266 people.
266 people joined. We raised $5,000 as a team in the first year in 2019 that we were doing it. In 2020, just 1 year later, we raised over $60,000 freaking dollars, which at the time was the most any group had ever done. Wow, that was incredible. That was beautiful.
Well, I think as a team since then, we've raised over $200,000 or somewhere around there for BC Cancer in Tamara's name. And BC Cancer was extremely important to her, and that was one of the organizations she supported when she was still alive, and that she was very adamant that we support them when she was gone as well.
I was shocked to see people from other countries joining Hot Time Summer, and they were doing it because as a competing athlete from another country, they had that much compassion and that much connection with her. From what Ryan and Arden have told me, is she would go around the tournaments and everybody in every country would know who she is. Right?
She'd disappear into the Great Britain team, and you're like, where the heck's Tamara? And then she's like in the middle of their team, and you're like, oh, we found her. So
I think that was beautiful. And what the BC Cancer Foundation does for those that are going through cancer, which I wanted to touch on a really quick point here. Tamara always hated, I don't remember exactly how she said it. That's why I want to ask you guys. Tamara always hated saying, I'm fighting cancer or I'm battling cancer. Because I don't want to butcher it. I think this is a very important thing for someone that may be, affected by cancer to hear her perspective on it. I don't know if she ever publicly spoke about it. What was her mentality?
She'd always say she doesn't really like the phrase of battling cancer or fighting cancer or beat cancer, because to her it's I never chose to fight this fight. It's not a fight. I didn't enter willingly. I didn't want this. This is not a battle I chose. So I feel like she always struggled with calling it a battle or a fight when it was nobody wants to or chose that for themselves.
And I think as an athlete, it implies if you're losing your battle that you're not trying hard enough.
Mm-hmm.
And that you don't lose your battle. Everybody's fighting for their lives. Everybody's trying their absolute hardest. Nobody loses their battle.
Mm-hmm.
There's no losing when you're trying your hardest.
I try very hard to make sure that I don't use those words anymore in this context, which is why, as I was saying, if you're going through this horrible illness, which is cancer, in Tamara's words, it's not a battle. It's not a battle that anyone chooses, and it's not a battle that you really have control over in that sense, right? At least as it stands now. Now, BC Cancer Foundation, there's a whole video on what BC Cancer does for patients.
I'm a prime example of where your money goes. I can tell you as a patient of BC Cancer, thus far for me, I've gotten everything I've needed to get. People have been so supportive. There's family counseling services. There's art therapy groups. There's so many other support groups within BC Cancer. There's clinical trials that are going on. Radiation treatments going on there. They're getting machinery that is so necessary to people's care. PET scanner machines, CT machines. My drugs. This costs $18,600. So I guard this with my life. Basic Cancer pays for them, and I am forever grateful for everything they've done. My treatment alone, like my own journey through having cancer, like I want to say we're in the solid $250,000 range here, with everything that they pay for through my immunotherapy, through these inhibitor drugs, through PET scans, through appointments. I had radiation treatment done last year. Patient care is phenomenal, and you know, the advancements that they're making through research are also phenomenal, and if you don't give and you don't support, these things won't be available. And you know, if you don't even know anybody with cancer, if you're watching this video, you now do. Cancer Society says about 1 in every 2 Canadians will be diagnosed with cancer, and it's a hard thing for me to learn that, like, I'm gonna meet more people that are gonna be diagnosed after me. I just want this to end, you know, like I want it gone. The worst thing in the world to me is somebody telling me they have cancer, they just got diagnosed, because I know what they're gonna go through, and I want it gone. You know, I want research done, and I want to make sure it doesn't happen to as many people as it is. And it makes me emotional because it sucks. You know, it hits me so close to home knowing that BC Cancer is able to do all this. That's why I'm doing the workout this year, and that's why I'm making this video, and that's why I'm asking for your help, because without you, without a donor, without you sharing this, without your support, it won't get out there. That's my mission, sitting here talking to you about my own story, talking to you about what BC Cancer does, because without them, I would not have received any of the care I have received, and so many other British Columbians wouldn't have either. And I want to say thank you for anybody who will donate. And if you can't, share this video. We're not going to solve anything by being quiet about it. So that's why I choose to stand up. That's why I choose to tell my story, in hopes that I can help cancer prevention in the future. I hope that the statistic in 1 and 2 is gonna go. It will be much, much different in the future. That's my hope, because I don't want people dealing with this. If you can donate to this link that's posted with this video. If not, please share, please talk about it. I'm pumped to do this workout this month. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching this video. Here's to the month of May.
I think what also BC Cancer Foundation does is this fantastic fundraiser to remind us that we're healthy. If we're healthy, and if we're capable of moving our bodies, we should move them. This month, we would love for everybody that is anybody watching this. We don't care who you are. We don't care if you've been affected by cancer or not, because unfortunately, we do care if you've been affected by cancer. However, 1 in 2 British Columbians are going to be affected by cancer at some point in their life. And, you know, I've now been part of that. I'm part of that statistic. And one day, you know, what you do this month for raising awareness and raising money could make a huge difference for yourself or someone that's really important to you. We ask that you join us for Hot Time Summer this year and watch. If you're curious more about where your money goes, I highly recommend you watch Tamara's video. We'll put it in the link in the description of the video. Or you can go to Tamara O'Brien YouTube channel, and you'll probably find it there if you search BC Cancer Tamara O'Brien. And we would love for you to join us this month to move your body for 30 minutes a day, every day for the month of May. Post about it, share it. You don't have to post about it. You can tell your friends and family in person, or you can tell nobody and do it in silence, and knowing that, you know, you are working and you know, you're doing something for a great cause. Anything you guys want to add to that? Workout to Conquer Cancer, what it means to you, or why people should join?
Well, I think the thing that I love most about it is the community around people that work out, and not even within our own team. We follow the other teams, and there's no competitiveness. We're all there to support each other, and it's such a good reason to get out and move your body, but it's so nice to see other people doing it too. So if you're, let's say, across the world in Paris by yourself and you're the only one doing it, it's a nice way to see your friends and connect with them and connect with other people every single day over a great cause and a great thing for you, which is moving your body.
Yeah, and I'd say like even if you don't join our team, there's like so many teams doing it right now, and like Ryan said, I actually like find it like super super inspiring to go read some of the other pages. It's like we know the Tamara story, but there's so many stories just like hers that are so impactful and so inspiring. So go read those pages too, and all the money goes to the same place. So whatever dollar they make, we're super super happy too.
We want to thank you for if you guys made it this far and listened to this episode. It's a very tough one. There's an episode I recorded with Mindy and her mole and Ryan and Arden. I told them, oh, I'm going to send it to you. I'm going to edit it. But man, it makes me really, really emotional watching that one. So it will be hopefully released soon. You can make a difference. We would love for you to join. I was going to make a joke about bubble tea or something, but I got nothing. So, yeah, no, thank you so much, Arden and Ryan, for everything you guys do. You guys are amazing human beings. The world needs more of you. If you're going through a tough time right now, you're not alone. Maybe it's a mental health situation. Maybe it's a personal family situation. Maybe it's a physical health situation. Or maybe it's something completely unrelated to that, but you're going through a tough time. You know, all three of us have gone through our tough times with Tamara, without Tamara. We're all human. It's part of life. The only thing that we have is each other. And, you know, join this beautiful community of Hot Tam Summer. So thanks so much, Arden. Any last words from you?
So sorry for crying. Try to make that sound.
That's a horrible. That's not even it. Say something else. Nobody will accept that.
I want to say that we love you, Tamara, and she's the reason why we're all here, why we're all friends, why we're supporting this great cause. So, thinking of her all the time.
We love you, Tamara. We love you, all the listeners. I love you too. And thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Hot Tam Summer 2024, 5th anniversary. Let's go!